The Real Estate and Mortgage Show, your go-to spot for everything home buying, selling, and financing on News Talk 580 CFRA.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. So, Paul, we were talking in the office the other day just about some interesting things that people in the real estate market sort of say when they're getting houses ready and stuff like that. And we've had one where a person said, "Well, I don't want to fix anything or clean anything up, but I want the most for the top dollar for my house."
Yeah, and we get that all the time. It's just like, I don't want to. One gentleman I was talking to, one of our sellers, and he's like, "Well, I don't want to clean." And I said, "But your house is decluttered. Your house is cluttered and needs a decluttering and needs a nice clean. Like, you have to clean your house if you want top dollar." "Well, I know I want top dollar, but I'm not cleaning my house." I'm like, "Well, you're not going to get top dollar then, because a seller will go through that house and they'll see dirty baseboards and dirty counters and dirty cupboards. And if the things that show are dirty, what about your eaves troughs? What about your furnace filters? What about, like, how often do you maintain your furnace?" I mean, like, so you can't sell your house. When you're selling your house, it's a museum. It's not your house anymore. Yeah. It has to look perfect. It has to show perfect. It has to smell perfect.
That's a big one for me.
Well, it has to. I mean,
the smell side of it.
Yeah, like, I do understand different cultures cook in different ways, and you have different smells throughout the house, but you have to appeal to the general masses. You have to appeal to every culture, every walk of life. So your home has to smell good. It has to be decluttered. I could go through your house and give you just some elbow grease ideas that don't cost a penny. Like, just having your house smelling nice, having it clean, decluttered, is three of the biggest things that you could possibly do in order to get your home sold without putting any money into it. And then there's little things like, I don't expect you to go and paint your own house, because I've seen people who have painted their own house and it has to be painted again.
I've shown up to houses to do photos and people are still painting.
Yeah.
There's drop cloths down. We're just finishing. It's a lot more work than you think it is to paint a house.
It is, but touch-ups, like baseboards have to be clean. Touch up your baseboards. People will look in your cupboards, so make sure your cupboards are decluttered. Make sure your plates and cups are at a minimum. There's so many things you can do to make your house appeal to the masses without putting a lot of money into it. But yeah, we get a lot of times someone's like, I want top dollar, I want this number, but I'm not willing to do a thing. And I'm like, well, hold on, you're not even willing to clean or do a couple touch-ups here or there, or, clean out that garage or clean out this? No. Well, then don't bother selling your house, because if you're not doing that, you're not getting top dollar. But
or if you're willing to accept a price that reflects that, then
and I'm not going to tell you to go ahead and redo your kitchen and redo your bathrooms and redo all your floors in order to sell your home. We'll just price it according to what it is. But there's certain properties that need that work to be done, that need that elbow grease. And if you're not willing to do it, don't expect top dollar for your home. And I've said it probably every show for the last probably 2 to 3 months.
Wait, what show is this, Frank?
Which one?
Today.
949.
949 shows. So for 949 shows, you've been saying...
I've been saying this, but at the same time, I've been saying this more in the last 2 to 3 months because of this market that we're in right now. I've never seen a market in history where if you're not listed with the strongest professional, if your home doesn't show perfect, and you're not priced correctly, your home will not sell. Only 40% of the homes are actually selling that hit the market in Ottawa. The ones that aren't selling, they haven't listened to their realtor on pricing. They haven't got their house looking great. Or it's the pricing is just the worst part of it. So if you don't listen to us and price your home correctly, your home is not going to sell. And like I said, 6 out of 10 homes are not selling right now. So you got to do the right thing in this market in order to get your home sold.
I guess the point is, if it doesn't look great on the surface, then people are just asking in their minds, potential buyers are asking in their minds, what else have you not taken care of?
Exactly.
If you can't even wipe the baseboards off.
And right now is really, really important for curb appeal. Curb appeal is everything, because people aren't going to go walk through your home if they don't like what it looks like on the outside. So now is really important to make sure your lawn looks good. Get some water on it. Get some soil, some seed. Get your gardens cut back.
It's long weekend this weekend, so it's everybody out getting plants.
Get some plants. Make sure the curb appeal looks great. If your garage needs painting, if your door needs painting, because you want to get people through the door. Selling your home, and I tell sellers this all the time, it is one of the most stressful things you'll ever do. Is selling your property. But if you do the right things and get it done quick, you'll get the right results. If you try to do it half I can't say the word, half bummed. If you try to do it half bummed, then you're not going to get the dollar you want. You might get your home sold, but you're not going to get the dollar you want. So you want top dollar, you got to put the work in to get top dollar, especially in today's market.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I see it all the time going into houses. I can normally tell you right away pulling up outside what the inside's going to look like. You know, well, you're mentioning that curb appeal, right?
You've been in so many homes too. You could probably pull up to a home and say, this one will sell quick, or this one's going to take a long time before you even know what the price is, right?
Oftentimes, yes.
Yeah, you're like, this one's going to sit forever.
Yeah. Unless, like you said, unless it's priced properly for that condition.
Yeah. And that's important too. Like, if you think I'm coming through that door and I'm telling you to put a $40,000 kitchen and a $20,000 bathroom in order to sell your home, I'm not going to do that. But I will probably tell you we need to price your home $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 less if you have those old components. But don't go spend the money. Price it accordingly.
Yeah, I know we had some clients this week asking one of our agents about price plus improvements.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about it a few times, but it seems to be a very valuable program.
It's a good program, but it's got some quirks to it because you can't, you have to do the work in a certain period of time, so you can't stretch it out over a year. Generally speaking, it's anywhere between 60 to 120 days, depending on the lender.
From possession?
From possession date. So, and you need to present us with the quotes of the work that's being done along with your purchase agreement. So sometimes the difficult part is trying to get a contractor in there to give you the quotes when your offer's just getting accepted, because clearly you're not going to bring somebody in there if they haven't accepted your offer yet because you don't own the property. So you got to got to do it in order where first you get the vendor to accept your offer, and now you got to go back into the house
with a contractor
and get quotes, and then you provide us with the quotes along with the purchase agreement, and we send it up. And the way it works, and it's a great program if we can meet all the deadlines, but today's world, you've got conditions that got to be up in 5 days, so sometimes it's very difficult to get that contractor in there in that 5-day period. Give us the quotes, then be able to turn around, send it to the lender who sends it to the default insurer to get approval. All that stuff needs to happen in such a short period of time. And
is it hard to find a contractor, though? Because when does a contractor get paid? And let's be honest, most contractors want 20, 30, 40, 50% up front. Where does that money come from?
That's the thing, right? Because with the purchase plus improvements, what happens is, so let's just assume you buy a $500,000 house and it needs $50,000 in upgrade, or you've got a $50,000
plan
quote. So now we're going to get the financing approved on $550,000, and you're going to put your down payment, whatever it is, and whatever the down payment you put on the house, the purchase price, you also need to put that same down payment on the improvements as well. So in other words, if you're putting 10% down, that's $50,000 on the $500,000, but you also got to put $5,000 on the $50,000 because you're also putting the down payment. So now your purchase price becomes $550,000. But what happens is at closing, the mortgage is advanced based on the $500,000 purchase price, and then the rest of the money goes to the lawyers in trust. You only get that money when the work is completed, or default insurers on an exception basis will do one draw. So in other words, halfway through, you can say, okay, our kitchen's been done. Can we get the money for the kitchen? The other stuff is following later. So you can get the one draw. But again, what most people don't realize is that you need to have the money. So you're right, Paul. A contractor is going to ask for a $20,000 deposit. If you don't have that $20,000, you're not getting it from your mortgage because you don't get that extra money until the work is done. They won't front it. The money only comes at the end.
That's a red flag in that program then, because most people who are doing this, the reason they're doing it is they don't have the money to put down to do this renovation.
Well, that's not true. I mean, in some cases, they have a line of credit, personal line of credit. They don't really want to borrow for it. But if you know that you're going to get that money back and be able to pay off the line of credit, then that's what you go on. So in that scenario, you'll borrow from your personal line of credit, pay the contractor, and then once the work is done, you're getting all the money, and then you can pay off your line of credit. So
yeah, I have a friend going through this right now, looking into this program, and he's stretched thin just for his down payment, right? Yeah. And so he knows that the renovation is going to be about $100,000, and he knows that any contractor is asking for something
100%.
Up front, unless you have like I have the most amazing contractor who sometimes doesn't bill me for 2 years, but
we don't want to give his name away.
Yeah, I'm not giving his name away at all. But if most contractors are going to say, okay, if I'm going in to redo kitchens and redo floors, and it's going to be, let's say, $100,000, I need 30 grand up front. I need 35 grand up front. And if you can't get that through the purchase plus improvements and you're already stretched on your down payment, it makes it really, really hard to afford that 30, 35 until you can get that draw, which could be 2, 3, 4 months down the road. Yeah.
And I caution people too, make sure you know the contractor. Make sure you know who the contractor is, because I've had stories where clients have called me and said, Frank, we can't find their contractor. We gave him $20,000, like doesn't return our calls, doesn't call us back. So again, that's why that program sometimes has got those clawbacks, and the fact that it's not taken advantage of maybe as much as it should, because people are nervous. People, number one, don't have the money up front. They're nervous about finding the right contractor to do the work. So I think that's part of the problem with that program.
Yeah, and nowadays it's so hard to find a good contractor, right? I mean, they're not as
they're out there. It's just, the really good ones sometimes are too expensive, and therefore it's out of somebody's budget. And then the ones that it's too good to be true, be very careful, because there's a reason it's too good to be true. They might not be taken advantage of. They might be taking advantage of you by getting a deposit and then not being around. So just be very careful. I would say try to get 2 or 3 quotes. But again, when you're in a scenario where you've got deadlines, where you're buying the house and now you got 5 days to get everything in place, it's hard to find 2 or 3 people to come and give you quotes.
Yeah, to get
getting one is hard enough. Never mind getting 2 or 3.
And listen, in a strong market too, like you talked about the conditional period, that's anywhere between, let's say, 5 days to 7 days. Trying to get a contractor in there to get a quote, to get it to you, to get it up to the lender in 5 days is
hard.
It's virtually impossible. Yeah.
How long does the process take on the lender side for going to the default insurer? And
24 hours. Like, honestly, it should.
It's pretty quick. Yeah.
But again, sometimes no different than anything else. Sometimes lenders are just jammed. Like, we have one lender that's got a rate that's absolutely unbelievable right now. And I know right now that I'm going to get an email on Tuesday from this lender saying, hey, just to let you know that we're 3, 4, 5 days behind when it comes to underwriting. Why? Because everybody's sending to this lender because their rate is so much better than everybody else right now. So,
Frank, are we still seeing appraisals super delayed? Because I've seen scenarios where the house is closed, they waive the financing, they waive the home inspection, then 3 weeks later we get a call for an appraisal.
Yeah, that's usually a mistake made somewhere down the line. So it's not always the mortgage broker. A lot of times it's the bank, where they tell you they don't need an appraisal. You send in all the documentation, the customer waives, and then all of a sudden say, oh, we messed up. Sorry, we should have gotten an appraisal on this property. And then my comment is, listen, you need it for your check mark. That's great. I'll tell you right now, you told me there was no appraisal needed. So if the value comes in less, that's on you. That's not on me. You made the mistake. You're going to own it.
It's still scary. It's even scary, even when people change lenders too. Like, I remember when I was selling my big Navin home.
Yeah.
Like a week before closing, I got a call from an appraiser, and I was like, "What? This is what's going on here?" They said, "Oh, they're just changing their institution. Yeah. They got a better rate somewhere else, and they need an appraisal." But it's still, as a seller, that's scary.
It's nervous.
That's scary.
Yeah, it adds stress that's not needed.
Yeah,
is what it
very
does.
Scary.
What would happen after closing? Like, and the appraisal comes back, and the bank. Well, no, because it's closed.
Well, it's
not closed. Well, it's firm. It's usually
firm, right? Firm, usually it's after. So now the client's waived because, of course, one of the things we ask the lender, do you need an appraisal? Nope. At AVM. So the term is auto valuation model. So they've got this auto valuation model. They key the information for the property in the system, which CMHC has a list of all the properties. There's a number of companies out there. Title insurance companies have it too. Once you put that information in there, it comes back with either a check mark or an X. If it comes with an X, we need an appraisal. If it comes with a check mark, they guarantee the value of the property. So therefore, we move forward. There's been occasions where they've come back and said, yep, no appraisal needed. And then, 2 weeks later, oh, sorry, we made a mistake. We need an appraisal. Well, customers waive, just so you know. So whatever happens with the appraisal, you
contractually, they're on the hook for this property now.
That's great. You need it. You sent me a commitment that does not require an appraisal, so you got to honor that commitment. You want it for your audit purposes, that's great. But if that value comes in less, we're going to have a legal problem potentially with the client.
Absolutely, because the client's going to be on the hook for that, right? So,
Have a question? Head over to realestateandmortgageshow.com and submit it there, or give us a call at 521-TALK, 521-8255. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show, everybody. To the phones we go. We got Dave in Ottawa who has a question about condos. Dave, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks very much. Paul, I'm looking for the team's opinion. I was one of the original owners or purchasers in the Q West condo corporation.
Yep.
And unfortunately, as you know, that hasn't turned out to be a great investment. I might be up, I don't know, it's a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bath. Maybe it's up $75,000, maybe $100 from where I purchased it. It's been rented for the last 14 years. With rent control, I'm in a position where, as you know, I'm not able to substantially increase my rent. And I'm only making, I think in a perfect year, I'll be $500 above my fixed costs, excluding my mortgage principal payments. So the return on my equity, which is not substantial in the building, is pretty low. I'm trying to decide whether to sell or not. And because I kind of think at this point, it'd be better to have my money in the stock market or something like that. So I'm curious to your thoughts on, my situation.
Yeah, really good question. The one thing I can tell you is the condo market is butchered right now. It's, the number of sales are down 17%. The average sale price is down almost 4%. They're a tough sell right now with condos. And listen, I'm never going to say a condo is a bad investment. The only tricky part is with a condo is the condo fees. They're a variable, like with a townhome or a single family home, your fixed cost. With a condo, the condo fees are always a variable. They could go up. There could be a special assessment. There could be lots of repairs needed. So it's always a tricky investment. I personally have always stayed away from condos as an investment and just done freehold. You're up 75 or 175, whatever you thought it was, which is great. I never like to see people sell doors, but when it does come to a condo sometimes, and I do believe over the last few years, it's been real tough sledding for condos. If you feel like, listen, when you said you're up $500, is that per month or per year?
In a perfect year. So I had a 1.92 mortgage for 5 years, and I had decent cash flow. I had to renew this year, and my mortgage jumped up to 362. In a perfect world this year, I'll have a profit of $800. Not free cash flow, not monthly cash flow, negative cash flow, but my fixed cost, i.e. my interest in my mortgage, my property tax, my condo fees, and my insurance will be paid, and I'll be ahead $800. So my rate of return, say I have $100,000 in equity, my rate of return is less than 1%. And of course, I get into tax recapture problems. I mean, I don't really want to pay the taxes. I'm in my prime earning years, but I kind of feel like I need to set that aside perhaps and start looking at how much equity do I have in here. In a conservative stock market portfolio, at 6%, I'd be making $6,000 a year in my $100,000. On this condo, I'm making, less than one if I don't have to repair anything. And as you mentioned special assessments. I also don't know if QS is ever going to go up in value. I also own an exchange, which I sort of view a little differently because I've got a terrace unit that's got something unique, whereas QS is just another box in the sky. So this is kind of what's going through my head.
Well, Dave, I think you've answered your own question, to be honest with you. I think you believe that selling might be the best option for you, and I don't disagree. The only thing that I'll put an asterisk beside is any investment in today's market that is positive cash flow is always a good investment, okay? Because there's a lot of investments right now that are not positive cash flow, but could you be earning more money elsewhere? Potentially you could. Right, so I think you've answered your question, and I don't see a silver lining for the condo market anytime soon, to be honest with you. Yeah. So
and probably talk to an accountant, a tax accountant or tax lawyer, just to see what your liabilities will be on that.
What the capital gains are going to look like, once you sell it, and now it's only on half. He's only made $75,000. It's only on half of that, and then capital gains on that, so it won't be significant. So you'll have some money to invest. And you're right, if you're getting a 6 to 8% return, sure sounds a lot better than making $800 for the year.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for the call, Dave. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, Frank, we're at the end of the show already.
Wow, just like that. Show number 949, 950 next week, everyone. Wow, we're a year away from 1,000. Incredible.
Birthdays this week?
Incredible. Yeah, I've got a couple. Stefano and Sophie, Stefano Provenzano from my from Mortgage Brokers Ottawa, and Sophie gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, Julia. Congratulations.
So a real birthday.
A real birthday to Julia. David Andre, one of our great mortgage agents out of Cornwall. Happy birthday to David. And my good buddy Renzo Rico Catana celebrates his birthday today. So happy birthday to Big Renzo.
Amazing.
I have a couple. Mr. Greg Tilley yesterday celebrated 4 years with Paul Rushforth Real
Wow.
Estate. So I was like,
That's
4
it?
years. Yeah, that's it.
That's it?
Well, 4 years, me being solely full-time at Paul Rushforth
Okay.
Real Estate, but Paul and I have worked together for about 15 years
yeah,
at this
forever.
point.
We've
Yeah.
worked together forever.
Because I met you 4 years ago. Like, that beard was not gray.
also,
was not
Mark,
great.
Mark Purdy, one of my amazing ISAs. He celebrates 4 years today as well. And I went on a wonderful trip to Punta Cana recently, and I met some wonderful people who both had a birthday today. Milf and Chris, happy birthday, guys! And it was such a blast of a trip, and I can't wait to do it again with you guys.
Enjoy your long weekend, everybody.
Yes.
We'll talk to you next week.
And support local businesses and charities, everyone.